Hello, I guess you're back. Or welcome back for part 2. If not, and you're a new person, well, it's about Hormesis adaptation and longevity. I'll make a short summary of it. So, you wanna know about Hormesis, huh? Adaptation and longevity. Those three things are completely different. Now, let's start. Just a summary. Turn on the music. Well, I mean the music. Alright, Hormesis. In its principle, it's basically what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but it's basically what doesn't damage you enough that your cells can repair it. Also, hormesis needs to pair up with cells that constantly doesn't exhaust. Hormesis is basically what damages you makes you stronger. Like a cell who can divide 100 times can adapt and survive longer. That's basically longevity. The cell who survives during stress and thrive. That's adaptation. By what's Darwin's theory, the strongest and fittest living organisms in the environment will survive. Basically, it can keep up its tissue functions and integrity. So, cells who survive to the 100 cycle of mitosis the most adaptive and strongest. But you still wonder, why? If you always do hormesis, it just doesn't make sense why you don't live longer. Well, because hormesis isn't basically longevity. Hormesis is like making your cells survive a bit longer, be more healthy, and functions properly. But here's the thing. Even if your cells do get adapted, it won't live longer due to its biological age, where mitochondria, protein turnover, mutation, causing a natural apoptosis to save your body. That's where telomeres come from, the basis of longevity, or how many times a cell can divide and live longer. The longer your telomeres, the longer your cells can replace and renew, and the longer your cellular adaptivity to basically anything else, like exercise. You can basically adapt to everything, even learn things. And you can also live longer. It's like this. Even if the toughest and most living people survive, how can it maintain like a corporation if new people just keeps getting smaller and smaller coming up? The added workload is too much. That's why larger muscles means more strength, bigger brains means more processing. Basically, you need cells that keep coming, and once you stop, the corporation collapses, just as the function of your body. Okay, what the heck am I doing? So basically, I'll explain this scientifically. So let's go back. So basically, do you remember in part 1 when I said that your ancestors, 10,000 years ago, at the present time, share almost the same genetic signals? Well, basically, evolution is extremely long. I said that. And those who are the fittest to survive, reproduce, and thrive. This has been happening for billions of years. That's why your cells are extremely adapted, with many signals serving very specific purpose that allow them to survive through time. They have been refined to become incredibly complex. That's why your cells can thrive through hormesis or adapt. Let me explain this. As cells become more sophisticated and specialized for the benefit of the whole organism, they need to balance their internal environment to ensure the organism thrive and survive. This is homeostasis, the perfect internal balance. Your well-being is always changing. For example, with sun exposure, your cells need to detect if there are cancerous cells or your DNA is damaged. If they are damaged, if so, they trigger apoptosis. If they are too much damaged that your cells can repair them. If not, otherwise you risk developing cancer. Cells must also detect if there's enough sufficient energy, toxins in the extracellular environment, or damage within themselves. failure to detect or respond to these factors can lead to harm or death to the organism, basically us, humans, or any living being. This brings us to signaling, the cell's way of knowing if it's in danger or need to adapt and change. You already have this built into your genes. You already have this built into your genes. Your DNA is a product of billions of organisms with traits that allow them to survive, and those traits are encoded in you. But still, all cells, regardless of their complexity, are primarily made up of three major classes of biological molecules, what they are made of, and all the functions, signalings, and everything. For the structures, proteins, lipids, carbohydrates, and nucleic acids, basically carboxylic acids. Each plays vital role in maintaining the structure, functions, and survival of the cell. First, the proteins, the main functional molecules of the cell. They act as enzyme that speed up chemical reaction, act as structural components that give cell shape and strength, transporter that moves substances in and out of the cell. Some proteins also act as messenger to receptors, allowing cells to communicate and respond to its environment. Because of their diverse shapes and functions, proteins are basically structural, if you call it that, and also signaling. The second is lipids. They're like fats, but not glycerols that was made in your fats. Lipids form the foundation of, glycerols are also lipids. Lipids form the foundation of cellular membrane. They create a flexible barrier that separates the cell's internal environment from the outside world. Beyond forming membranes, lipids store energy efficiently and serve as signaling molecules that help regulate metabolism, growth, and inflammation. The lipid bilayer of the cell, basically your cell membrane, what keeps and out of the cell, is what keeps them protected while allowing selective exchange. The third is carbohydrates. They serve as a major source of energy and also as structural materials. Simple carbohydrates like glucose provide quick fuel for a cellular process, while complex carbohydrates form cell walls, only in plants, like the cell wall in plants, cellulose, or decorate cell surfaces in animals to help with recognition and communication. Many cells also use carbohydrates to store energy in molecules like glycogen or starch, basically eating rice and storing them for energy. If you are on a high calorie diet, they basically made into fats. Nucleic acids. The fourth is nucleic acids, the DNA and RNA. Though sometimes the nucleic acids are called the fundamental of life. They are called DNA, carrying the genetic blueprints that tells the cells how to build how to build proteins, while RNA acts as messenger and builders, translating DNA instruction into actions. Without nucleic acids, the cell wouldn't be able to grow, reproduce, or adapt. At this video, we're only going to talk about cell signals, transcription and translation of DNA and RNA, what are DNA, or signaling, cell signaling, those extracellular signaling and intracellular signaling, because that's what Hormesis and adaptation is about. So let's go! Basically, so the DNA is a genetic blueprint of your cells, but you wonder, how does it do that? Well, DNA is made of two strands, forming a double helix like an infinity sign. What's cool about these two strands is that they're complementary. If one strand is damaged, the cell can usually repair it, using the other as a template. As long as both aren't destroyed, the other can usually repair it. That's where hormesis comes in. Slight DNA or oxidative damage can trigger the cell to strengthen its repair system. Those 4 DNA bases, the nucleic acids usually have 4 letters, and they can be repaired easily as long as the 2 strands are completely destroyed. It's not like a computer code where a single error can break everything. In chemistry, a carbon atom is always a carbon atom anywhere in the universe. Because of this stability, cells are always the same. Cells can repair themselves efficiently, and the best part, in your double-strand DNA, only one strand carries the actual instructions, while the other strands by complementary and ready to repair it. Your RNA polymerase, that is the one that transcribes your DNA, is actually also complementary to your DNA. The 4 DNA letters A, T, C, and G are the language of life in each double strand of the DNA. When a cell needs to use a gene, like we talk about the RNA polymerase, it reads the instructions and creates an RNA copy that's complementary to it. This process is called transcription. During this, unnecessary part of the gene are cut out, and only the important sections are kept. The result is the messenger RNA that can have different roles. Some RNA molecules act as regulator, turning off other genes on and off, like transcriptional RNA, signal RNA. Others travel to ribosomes where they use to build proteins, like constructing part of house. So if you think about it, there are 2 complementary, the double helix and the RNA. Now I'll explain what complementary means and what DNA means. If they're complementary, the A, T, C, G. So the letters are A, T, C, G. They are just the alphabet, the real language that are groups. In DNA, when these 3 bases, oh man, my god, it's studying right now. So basically, 3 bases forms a word, and those make sentences that or amino acids that are building blocks of proteins. So proteins are actually what do things in the cells. Those enzymes, structural parts, signals. Amino acids that are grouped to make proteins that actually do to the cells. The adenine it pairs with thymine, cytosine it pairs with guanine, A to T, and C to G. So that's about the coding in the DNA. But when the RNA is made for the DNA template strand, RNA also follows complementarily. But this time it's U, which stands for uracil, replacing T. DNA A, RNA to U, uracil. DNA T, thymine to RNA E. DNA C to RNA G. DNA G to RNA C, which are shortened letters. So when that's finally transcribed, which basically what we're talking about, RNA polymerase can form into a process like splicing, where introns and exons. Introns are the unnecessary part in the groupings of the language, which are removed, and exons are joined, the important parts in a gene, in the letters. So pre-RNA introns remove and exons are joined together to form a mature messenger RNA. And that's about it. So that's basically the language. There are many types of RNA, like messenger RNA, which transcribe DNA by RNA polymerase to the ribosomes, which we talk about the splicing, and this mRNA goes to the ribosome to make proteins, and it goes to the Golgi apparatus to decomposition or combination, basically like what machines do, combining and decomposing. No, not decomposing, decomposition, where breaking. So RNA has many types and roles. Well, I can't explain them all, but I'll try. First, the mRNA, the messenger RNA, which is basically the transcribe from DNA to RNA polymerase. Initially contains introns and exons, but splicing, we talk about removes introns, the useless part, and leaving exons, the genes that are actually useful. This mRNA, the messenger RNA, goes to ribosomes to make proteins, to instructions to make proteins. The tRNA, the second tRNA, the transfer RNA, which brings the correct amino acids to the ribosome during translation. Matches is anticodon and mRNA codon. The RNA, the ribosomal RNA, which your ribosomes are made of. Structural parts of ribosomes help catalyze peptide bond and organize protein synthesis. The regulatory functional RNA, it's like a transcriptional RNA which it actually activates other genes by RNA. Non-coding RNA that regulates genes, guide modifications, or catalyze reactions. There are also like FOXO, AMK, NRF1. There are many types that activates genes and stress factors. For example, we talk about the transcriptional RNA. Okay, that's about that. This video has been so long. Like, I think it was 16 minutes. It's about 16 minutes. Now, you again may wonder, Jitor, why does the cell know that it has low energy? Or how does the cell know if it has enough? Or basically the cell doesn't know. It has signals. Pathway. There are two types, the intracellular signal and the extracellular signal. For example, cell can communicate to other cells nearby, their neighbor, or other endocrine systems can send signals like hormones, like testosterone, insulin, like that, to tell other cells to know what to do. But to wrap it up, with billions of years of evolution that I've said, our cells have equipped with a collection of arrays of billions, millions of proteins or structures that have specific functions. Every amino acid, every mineral that could be useful or even dangerous has a corresponding mechanism to utilize, process, or neutralize it. Over this vast span of time, the cell betrays the sense energy deficit using protein receptors or transcriptions to activate the right ratio to know if there are enough energy to make the cell survive or activate protective responses. Those organisms survive, or those cells, while those without these abilities did not. This is why our DNA is incredibly long, far exceeding the storage of any computer, stretching into terabytes, no, not even terabytes, or even exabytes, because it carries the instructions for every receptor, every amino acids that can build structures, and every mechanism necessary to sustain life or communication. Within each cell exist trillions upon trillions of proteins, structured according to these genetic instructions by the DNA, translated to RNA. These proteins detect structures, chemical states, and virtually every signal imaginable. Receptor proteins, acceptor proteins, like the receptor proteins in your ion channel or your permeable membrane, the plasma membrane in the cell, or even acceptor proteins like glycans. For instance, for these multiply a cell when specific molecules like ligands, I said, are present. Those specific proteins will produce instructions to do what a cell needs to do. Over time, cells have evolved the ability to interpret these signals and respond appropriately. Think of the heart, for example. It follows instructions encoded in DNA to pump rhythmically and efficiently. Like proteins like AMPK are continuously produced within cells to monitor energy ratios, adjusting processes as needed. Yes, AMPK and RF1, which enzymes or even mTOR are continuously produced by the DNA to RNA to produce proteins that are like that. Neighboring cells can also communicate about threats such as cancer, growths or viruses or bacteria, prompting the production of receptors and signaling molecules that alert other cells and mobilize defense. This is the essence of cellular communication. Well, I'll explain. To allow individual cells to coordinate efficiently for the survival of the entire organism, signals operate at different functions, like autocrine signals, which the cell communicates back to the sending cells itself, even stress receptor signals, or about paracrine signals like paracrine signals. Cytokines, for example, you have virus or bacteria, and cells activate cytokines, activating locally or neighboring cells, often traveling slowly but affecting only tissue level responses. That's why if you get a cut in your arm, there's usually inflammatory response or endocrine signals, which however are specialized cells which uses the bloodstream via bloodstream, which produces hormones reaching distant targets with hormones like testosterone, insulin, and melatonin, instructing cells precisely what actions to take. Ultimately, our body are the product of billions of years of fine-tuning and a vast interplay of networks of protein signals and receptors that allow every cell to sense, respond, and communicate with remarkable efficiency. That's why cell age with protein turnover, you really have to have perfect turnover of those billions of proteins and structures. And that's about it. I'll try to add detail to this about specific signals and hormones and those stress signaling pathways, but this video is getting far too long. Well, thank you for watching my video and see you next time. Because thank you. See you again for part 3, I guess.